Black Independent, where we speak truth to power, unapologetically.
For too long, the black vote has been treated like a given, but we're not property. We're not pawns. We are the descendants of those who built this nation. And now, we're demanding tangibles, not tokenism, because the era of blind loyalty is over. This is the Black Independent. Let's get to work.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because you were saying, is Robin on? Is Robin on? Yes, Robin is here. We did not bring her up, so we'll kind of pinch hit. But welcome, everybody.
Yes, happy Wednesday, Jeanette. It's a rainy Wednesday. Been raining on and off out here, and a little thunderstorm going on, but we need it.
It is a good thing. I'm thinking of all our gardens at the schools and what have you. They are getting plenty of love from the sky. So,
my grandmother always said rainwater for the garden is better than our general water, and I didn't believe that or really accept that till I got much older, and I said it does. You could tell the difference.
Yeah, that seems to make sense to me. I don't know. I think it's logical. That's a logical.
No chemicals in that water. It's fresh water. The smell is good for the earth. Well,
yes. Tonight is
going to be an interesting, a little bit of a educational, talking to our people. Yes.
Yeah, I think sometimes we focus too much on the politicians, and we should focus on the people who are the ones who have to get engaged so that they can vote for the politicians or kick them out. So I think a lot of the conversation really, we might think about this going forward, need to be to the people. What are the people doing? What are the people thinking? But tonight, we've got somebody special who's dropped in on us, and I'm excited. And I want all of you guys to understand this guest that is joining us tonight is not just anybody. She is family.
Yes.
For those who do not know, Robin Lockett. But you know what, Mona, we go back, Robin and I, way back to Andrew Gillum campaign days.
Yes.
That's kind of where we met.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I watched that woman get into the trenches, and that was a long, long time ago, and that's been the foundation of our friendship ever since. So when I tell you I'm proud tonight of her, I really mean it from my heart. So as many of you guys know, Robin has spent decades doing the work here in Tampa, long before anybody was watching. She's a former political chair for the NAACP. Now, I didn't realize the extent of the work that she was doing with NAACP, but Robin's been everywhere. She's been the past president of the Hillsborough County Democratic Black Caucus. I think she was with the caucus when I met her, head of the caucus when I met her. And most recently, she serves as the regional director for Florida Rising right here in the Tampa Bay region, organizing residents, building leadership. I mean, she's building leaderships out of the people who are members there and fighting on housing, stability, and voting rights. Before that, we're not stopping now, but before that, she was regional director for Fair Districts, taking on partisan gerrymandering directly. And that's before most of us even knew what gerrymandering was. And as a matter of fact, in 2023, Robin ran for Tampa City Council. I know you remember that, because that's when we were working together with Robin.
Yep.
And that's where she pushed Guido Maniscalco to a runoff.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thunk it? Robin pushed that into a runoff. And even in that loss, she built relationships and credibility that I think are paying off for her right now.
Absolutely.
So because Robin is not stopping, she's running for Florida House District 63. Did y'all hear me? Robin is not stopping. She is still running for Florida House District 63. And that's the seat Ms. D. Hart Lohman. All right. Diana Hart, Diane Hart. Did I say Diana? Diane Hart. She's terming out, and Ms. D herself has already thrown her full support behind Robin, saying she's been doing the work, as I've said as well many times, and she's been doing that for over 3 decades, and she's just not stopping now. So, y'all, District 63 needs somebody who already knows the block, already knows the fight, and already has the receipts. That's Robin. So get ready for the drum roll. Welcome to the show. My sister in the struggle, the next state representative of District 63, Robin Lockett.
I am so impressed.
No, Robin, that resume is impressive. As I've been knowing Robin for a long time, Jeanette, and knowing all that she has done, I think I met her with the Black Youth, and ever since then. But very, very impressive, and have worked with her very closely since she pulled us into Florida Rising, and we've learned so much under her leadership.
She dragged us into.
Yes. At first, I told her, I said, I don't mind signing up. I just sign up, but I don't want to be active. And she gently pulls you in, and makes sure it got in. But I have enjoyed and
She
have
dragged
learned,
us. No.
and have learned so much under her leadership. And she is absolutely who we need in Tallahassee. I say no more. Go ahead with the interview.
Absolutely. So, Robin, welcome.
Thank you for the invite. I am always surprised when people introduce me. I really am. I'm thankful, and I know this sounds like a cliche, but it really isn't. I'm just humble with what people have to say. I really am, and it takes a lot for me not to tear up, because again, I don't receive it well. I give it, I nudge it, I pull you in. I do that, but for me to receive it,
y'all keep saying pull, but you drag people. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Robin, we can only say what receipts you have left, you've put down. We pulled in the receipts. We can't make up stuff. We are not making up stuff. You have did the groundwork. You've done the work. It's just simple as that.
Yeah. And you've been doing this work in the community, grassroots, for such a long time. Your staying power has been tremendous.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe in our community, and it's wherever people are, right? I think I've said this before, the sleeping giant is awakening, right? And that's years of the nudging, the being consistent. And no matter, Rodney would say, Miss Robin, we invited 110 showed up. Well, that's who we're dealing with. We're dealing with that 10, because that 10 is who's supposed to get the information. And our information would be so great, they're going to tell somebody else. And, just not being discouraged. And even with my being the Black Caucus president and having all of those forums, and my idea is, hey, you know what? We're going to have all these forums all over the city. Mm-hmm. So if you miss one, you can always go to another. Candidates hated it, but guess what? They always showed up.
Yes.
They always showed up.
And I think that's important when a candidate doesn't want to debate, and this just is a statement, don't want to debate or show up to a forum like this. That's a problem. We have candidates that's running for governor and saying they don't want to hold a debate. How do we know what you're standing for?
Yeah.
We have to have these debates. But Jeanette, we're gonna get right to it, and you've already told us who Robin is, but Robin, tell us why you're running.
Yeah.
I am, I'll be 62 in August. So this fight is not really for me. I understand how to maneuver. I understand how to move. I understand how to lobby. I understand all of that. This fight is for those people that don't have a voice that I've been fighting for. This fight is for my grandkids. This fight is even for my children. To make it better, to create a pathway to make it better for them. Because again, slowly but surely we're moving, right? And we have to, and democracy no longer requires participation. Right now it demands it. And I'm not afraid to say that. We have to be involved. We have to. We cannot sit on the sideline. And if I'm that person to say it out loud, then I'll be that person to say it out loud. Because again, I am driven by God. I am God driven. And that's what gives me the power and the fearlessness to say what I need to say.
Okay, so when you get off, I want you to stay on because we're going to pull that angle with the politicians, these people who say they are driven by God or who claim they are Christians. And I'm not seeing it in the action, but continue to watch. I know that's not you.
Oh, I listen. I move, and and a lot of people do say that. A lot of people say that. Right?
They voting records just do not prove it.
100%. Their fear. You cannot govern in fear.
Yes.
You cannot govern in fear.
Especially today. I think that's more true than anything else. But Robin, District 63, what does it need the most? And what are you going to fight for as soon as you get there? What's your day one proposition?
Learning how everything operates, and that's no joke. Don't expect. Again, I have to understand where I am. I have to understand who's the people to talk to. I have to understand the maneuvers of. And when you're finding the bathroom, you're finding the bathroom. So I'm not presenting any false promises. I am understanding how everything operates and who to align with, who not to align with. That's important because again, just like I built relationships here, I'll have to build relationships there. So just coming in and promising a whole lot of stuff, I'm not doing that. District 63, I see it as a gem. I see a lot of just like businesses. How do we treat it as a coin and wipe that coin off to make it shiny, right? Okay. How do we enhance the businesses that's already there? Beautify them, provide them with the technology. How do we do that, right? That would take state and local government and probably even federal to be able to invest in District 63. There's the restaurants, the businesses. I went to Dunedin a couple months ago. We had a meeting there with Florida Rising. And that was the first time, I was lost because I didn't realize I had never been in Dunedin. But as I was driving around, I saw the stores, I saw the community walk into the restaurants. I just saw community, stores and walking distances, just everything. But again, unless you have to go outside for something big, why not make everything work as it is there? And then we take a good look at it and figure out what we need to bring in. Not tear down what's there, fix it. Enhance it.
Enhance it, yes. It's certainly, and we do see that happening in some of the districts.
Correct.
Particularly just not in our district.
Right.
And it is by time that we have, like you said, our local government. I don't understand how we have a CRA that's been in existence over 20 years, East Tampa, and it still looks the way it looks. And then they get mad when we get mad at them It's just no way. So yeah, we do have to make sure that our candidates do have vision. You have to have a vision if you go in there. You have to have a purpose, and you have to know what you're fighting for. So yeah, Jeanette.
So, Robin, I guess we would want to know how you're different from most of the politicians who serve the donor class, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, I think it's appropriate that we ask you, how will you be what kind of politician will you be? Because that's what we're looking at.
I'll be the same type of the person that I am right now, because that's what you're sending. You'll be sending to Tallahassee, and there's no reason for me to change. What you see with me is what you get.
Are you saying you won't be bought? And I understand
no.
we need the donors and we need the lobbyists when they're coming up with good things. Now, I don't often want to use this because I didn't know if you wanted this to be used, but I listened to City Council, and one Thursday you said something about the red speed cameras, and I don't know if you really meant it or if it was just something you thought of or whatever. But a light went off in my head, and I said, "That's a solution." Other than putting these cameras up here, that is something we could start. That will cost a little bit of money, and something I've been wanting. But the donors are making the politicians push this, and I don't think it's solving the problem. It's hurting the community. I want politicians that are going to put the people first, not people to help make more money. The man that's behind all of this stuff is a billionaire. And
so I'm not sure what did I say?
With the you said, why don't we do speed bumps?
Oh, that was with the school
the red cameras.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
There's other avenues you can take first before spending money.
Absolutely. I loved it. I said, voila, that's it. And when I heard it, I had to go write it down. I was with the customer. I said, excuse me for a minute, because I'm going to often forget. And so I said, I got to write that down. And I just came home and I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. I love that. Instead of taking money from the poor. And we already know that stuff doesn't work. But I digress. Go on, Jeanette.
So I guess I'm going to kind of look at the audience right now and have you, Robin, address the audience. What is it that you need from us? What can we do?
Get out and vote.
Simple as that.
Is it as simple as that?
Be a participant in this election. It's not hard. You may not, if somebody asks you to volunteer, if I ask you to volunteer, don't volunteer for anybody else. So I'm being selfish with that. But the most important thing, even outside of volunteering and so forth, right? Handling things within your own family. If you make sure that everyone in your family is registered and you ensure that they go and vote, even if you have to drag them out the bed to go vote, then you've done your part. Just imagine if take a block and it's 10 houses on the block, 9 of the houses do it.
Yeah.
That's 100 people. If you got 5 people so again, it doesn't take a lot. And this election is not just about me. It's about everything that is going wrong in life. Yeah. We have to make a change. Will we be able to flip seats over? I mean, in the state house, I don't know about that. It'd be great if we could, because it would mean that other people outside of the Black community or the Democrats are voting a certain way. Mm-hmm. But we have to focus on the governor. If we can't flip seats, that should be our target in regards to making sure we don't put another person in office like Ron DeSantis.
Yes.
There is one they're lining up, but that's going to be an interesting one. That's all I got to say is that particular race. Yeah. So Mona, close this out.
Right. So, family, we're putting on a fundraiser for Robin this Thursday, July the 2nd, from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Well, 5110 North 40th Street here in Tampa. And we're suggesting a donation of $100, but we want everyone to come out to meet her and then invest in the leadership that's going to invest in our community. We have to do that. And we got to get it right now, guys. We don't have time to mess around. We gave you Robin's resume. And although I know a lot, it was impressive to hear. It is an impressive resume. She will be ready on day one. That's what we need.
Robin, where can anyone send donations? Do you?
VoteRobinLockett.com. And it's just as simple as that. VoteRobinLockett.com.
Sorry. My fingers are bigger than .com.
We'll also put it, you're going to put it in the comment, Jeanette?
Yeah, I think I just did. I did. So tomorrow, when Mona mentioned it, that Thursday is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, it's in East Tampa, right in the heart of East Tampa on 40th at the Well. It's going to be a nice jazzy 2 to 3 hours, just getting to meet Robin Lockett. And we're just looking for a really big crowd. So the co-host for the event is myself, yours truly, Mona Judge, and Gary Hartfield. We will be hosting a great evening and hopefully a successful fundraiser for Robin. Now, guys, we need the funds so that she can continue with this campaign through the August 18th primary. So I want to say that again, August 18th primary is what we're gearing for right now.
So actually, August the 18th, it'll be over for them.
Correct.
So we're trying to get her at the finish line. She will not go to November. So guys, if you support Robin, please stop by. Pick up a sign that you can put in your yard. You could donate $5, $10, $10, $15, $20. But we do need the money that she would need for the last 2 weeks of before the election, because that's where she would be spending the majority of her money. She got to pay people.
All right. Okay. Robin, any last words?
Yeah, come out and for those who know me, come out and say what's up. For those who don't, come out and listen to why my platform is my platform, why the affordable housing, the like thereof, is my platform. I was able to get $12 million into the budget of the city of Tampa, which equated to $54 million. And that wasn't for just rental assistance. It was for mortgage payments. It was for rehab homes. So come out and ask me more questions about that. Education. I'm a graduate of Tampa Bay Tech, proud graduate of Tampa Bay Tech. But back then we had trades. Yeah. And with trades, where are trades going?
That's true.
What does that look like in our community now? And I'm not talking about a kid leaving high school and then going to get a trade. How do we make trade look sexy again for kids to be in school, have an apprenticeship? And I'm not talking about magnet, where they are going magnet schools, where they're going to be doctors and Indian chiefs. I'm talking about real trades: plumbing, HVAC, construction, automobile,
cosmetology.
How do we bring that back? Mm-hmm. Because with that, and they're in school, kids can graduate either with the decision to be an employee or an employer.
Or go on to college. Either one of those three, you have options.
And even with education, school district, support our support staff. Yes, school teachers need raises, but what about our support staff? What about the bus drivers? What about the kitchen help and the custodians, the lunchroom people? What about them? So come out and ask me more questions about it, and I can elaborate just why. And you can even add something to it because our community has the best information. I don't know everything. That's why conversations are so important.
Yes.
Healthcare and mental health. My sister is a 3-time cancer survivor.
Wow.
But cancer doesn't discriminate.
It really doesn't.
We need more advancement. Mental health. A lot of mental health going on. How do we advance awareness? How do we get more money? How do we get more coverage for mental health? That's what I would be pushing for.
Right. So everybody, Robin Lockett will be in East Tampa tomorrow night at the Well. So see you at 5:30. And Robin, thanks so much for dropping in with us today. We really appreciate it. See you tomorrow.
You like that? I have someone in the studio with me tonight. Jeanette, my oldest daughter, is in town, and so she's sitting here. She's sitting here with me, and I'm playing with all my little toys. So let me figure out so I won't mess up.
You are, but so far so good. You've been like right on time.
Yeah,
doesn't seem like an afterthought. Okay,
right. All right, guys. We're going to take our first commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to get into who these politicians have really been working for. And I'm sorry to say why it hasn't been us. Stay with us. You got the first commercial, or you want me to pull it up?
Realize it or not. Okay. Chroma Elite Paint understands that. They're a Tampa-based, women-owned brand bringing together interior design and personal style, from your walls to your nails, because it's all connected. If you're ready to elevate your space and your look, tap in with Chroma Elite Color Specialists. Visit chromaelitepaint.com or call 813-841-9462.
Okay. I'm a little stuck right here. Can you get it?
Yep.
Yeah. I got stuck. Okay.
All right, so we're back. Jeanette, before the break, I asked, what is the job of these politicians really is? And here's the answer we keep running into, right? Too many of them have stopped working for the people a long time ago. And it has been happening slowly, but it just seemed like it has now just hit its head. The bubble has just burst in the last 3, 4, 5 years, but really since October the 7th. Mm-hmm. They stopped working for us, and they start working for whoever fund them, and we're finding that out.
Yeah,
that's a viral picture going around right now. Mm-hmm. The one about Election Day, the one that says you think you have a choice, but you don't. And I think me and you have been coming to this. How we end up deciding we was going to move from the Democratic Party. I did a little sooner than you, and went independent because I didn't really see a difference there. Now I know people will say, particularly my brother, a lot of Democrats said, stop saying that because it is a difference. And I'm going to show you what I mean when I say I don't see a difference. The one that says you think we have a choice, but we don't. Because here's what I didn't know, but I'm finding out. Both parties are paid by the same people. So all of them are both. They don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. They are doing what they buyers buy them to do. Yeah. And that is where we're having a problem now, and it's called APAC, right?
Yeah.
Let me be carefully here and honest, because that picture is just a symbol. It's pointing at something real, but foreign money and lobby money shaping our politics, and folks, we're just tired of it. So let me be honest. Sometimes we, as African American people, are the last group to either realize or wake up to what is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
APAC is one of the names for a bigger machine, right?
Yeah.
The real story is the smaller donor class, the billionaires and the lobbyists funding both parties and writing the bills, while the working poor, the working class, and the middle class will all lose at the same time. It is not designed for us per se. Once we start pulling this onion back, it has been designed for these people who's already billionaires and now trillionaires to continue to make money.
Yeah, I would say over the last 20 years with the, I guess, passing of Citizens United, which allowed corporations, billionaires to get in there and influence PACs to the extent that they are influencing and buying elections, as you say. We've been on the losing end of that. And I really want that fact to sit with the donors. So there's this small, as you say, donor class of very, very rich people that are influencing policy. And here's where I think we're the same, and here's where we differ with regard to the two parties being the same. I think the APAC does give to both parties in significant amounts that influence their votes.
Yeah.
But what they're influencing is pro-Israel policy. Yes. I don't believe they're influencing maybe the nature of the Republican Party as the small party, the small government party with their anti, I'm going to say black rhetoric, versus the Democrats who are the more of the big tent party and really struggles with how to please so many different factions within the party, and that they are supposedly for the people, although the Republicans are claiming the same. So I think there's a difference in mission and focus. But the one thing that APAC and Israeli American donors are paying for is a pro-Israel approach, so that when it comes to funding their military and funding their social network, they can be assured that politicians on both sides, regardless of who is president, that Israel will be taken care of. And that probably to me was one of the most brilliant moves they could have ever made. I understand these are 10-year contracts that are, excuse me, not contracts. These are 10-year MOUs that presidents will sign to continue, where the American taxpayer is footing the bill for Israel being a nation that protects itself in the Middle East. So it's a crazy thing.
Yeah, we can't be mad with them. We have to be mad at the people we elect, right? And so if we realize these people don't have enough sense that you keep selling us out and thinking the people are going to continue to go for that. And even local, I wasn't even aware, like our city, we send money to Israel. We buy their bonds. For what? When East Tampa looked the way it does, we're making any money off of it. I could see if we were making some money off of it. I still don't understand that, so I don't want to talk on that till I really understand what that is. I heard it at City Council, and I was like, "What?" So
Yeah.
on every
So-
level, these people are very smart.
Yeah, so we'll kind of move away from that subject for now because I think it does need further exploration. And I think what we can say is that there's a small donor class that is heavily or highly influencing politics in the
Sure.
country. And
Yes.
that's government. That means both parties, the executive branch, and for goodness sakes, I would go so far as to say the Supreme Court, that
Absolutely.
while we think we are voting for politicians, in so many cases, state level, and I would venture to say federal level, we're window dressing.
Yes.
And that's what I think we're starting to see a movement trying to pull away now that we are more in the know. Thank
Yes.
God for the internet, for these
Yes.
internets, as they say, because we are more in the know. But I think that's too, Mona, why we're starting to hear about socialist. There's a
Yes.
word.
Yes.
So,
everybody is hot shit, batshit, crazy, mad about that word, Jeanette.
So and we're calling it the Democrat socialists, and you see how even the Democrats are losing their shit about this particular phraseology because they feel like the Republicans are going to slaughter them. Now, socialist is a word that I would venture to say is a benign word that is being attacked the way the word woke was attacked.
Yeah.
So it's a harmless little word that everyday language has its own meaning. And when the Republicans in this case get a hold of the word, because they need to make it scary. And who do they need to make it scary for? They need to make it scary for the voter on the right, that this is something really big, bad, and scary. So here's what I want our people to hear on this word socialist, because they're going to try very hard to make sure in this upcoming election that you are afraid of socialists, even though you're seeing what's going on in New York City with the Democrat socialist as the mayor. You see that with your own eyes, right? You're hearing from the people, not the elites, if you will, but you're hearing from the people that what is happening there is amazing, for lack of a better word. So I'm not here to argue Democrat versus socialist, just not here to do that. That's their fight, and it's a distraction. So my question is much simpler. Does this work for the people or not? Because the truth is the Democratic Party is not moving left. We saw that in the last presidential election. It should have probably moved more left, but it stayed center and very close to center, where I even feel I even feel like they were almost right of center.
In my opinion, they are right of center.
And that is a big mistake. It's a big mistake. So if the Democrat Party is moving right, it's out here chasing Republicans and disaffected conservatives, trying to look moderate for who? For the donors. And it's forgetting the people, which is you.
Yes.
You,
yes.
Who have always anchored this party and never left it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now people are sort of looking around saying, maybe I'm not being respected, because the Democrats are making the mistake of moving too far to the right, so much so that they're flipping over center.
Yes.
So black voters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working people, us, I'm talking about us.
Yeah.
So when you see folks reaching for something that calls itself socialist, understand, I need you to understand what that really is. It's not a disease, people. It's not. That's people looking for anybody who will make the society work for them. That's all the people are asking for. And don't let the politicians and the folks in the rich folks, if you will, tell you any different. They're talking about us. And all we're doing is looking for a society that's going to work for all of us. Because the party that was supposed to do that seems to be walking away toward that safe center that pretty much says you're going to get more of the same. And right now, it is just not working for a lot of us. So you don't get to abandon your base and then act shocked when the people go looking for a new home. And that is what we are seeing in New York. And I think in Colorado, we just saw another Democrat socialist win the primary. That is what people are doing. They are walking away from the Democrats who seem to be tacking towards center.
In Colorado, Jeanette, a young man, I think he was 26, 27 years old, beat an incumbent for a long time. That is, it is very impressive. And the bottom line is, we have been the base of the party. And when we have people like James Carville, all of the Democrats,
the establishment,
what is going on, guys? It almost, you remember us doing that, the series on the word salad. These are words that we can no longer use because the Republicans are woke, like you said, woke. Why do we keep changing and readjusting to be comfortable, not only for our white liberals that's in the Democratic Party, but the so-called, they want to capture mad Republicans. And we see that didn't work. We thought that was going to happen with Harris, with Cheney. It did not work. Why our issues keep getting pushed further and further down. So we got to wake up, and people are waking up, and we're saying, look, it isn't working anymore. It's just as simple as that. So I would say that it's not. And all we have to do, Jeanette, is follow the money on why they are moving to the right.
Yeah.
Because this party used to be a party for the working class, the unions, all of those issues, things that my father, your father, things that our parents and grandparents was proud to be a Democrat. All of that stuff is gone. And in the Democratic Party, the things that they fought for, the things that they stood for.
Yeah.
They rather now want to compete with the Republican Party. They want the billionaires' dollars to come and talk to them. And once you start taking that money, then you got to start moving and producing for what the money is given to you for. And that is what they've been doing.
Yes.
The billionaires, they don't care about titles. They don't care what label you wear. They want to know, can you produce? Can you bring the crowd? Here's what we want. And that's what they've done. They've sold us out. And like they say, they're going to buy the Democrats, they're going to buy the Republicans. And it is interesting when we get people in office like Robin, who said, and I don't know how the people that we know that we vote for, and we know most of these people, how they end up selling us out. She knows the struggle, but I would say that most people who went before her knew the struggle. I can also say that I know for sure that I'm not going to say for sure, but for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
the things I do know, Representative Diane Hart did not sell us out. As many times when we called and said, hey, please don't vote for this bill. And she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
She was there for the people, which I know other Democrats did vote for it. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's it's a tough one, and as Robin competes for this position, and I certainly hope that she will do it whatever in our power, whatever we can in our power to make that happen. But it's going to be a difficult row to hoe because this is a red state. Some people would like to call it purple, but it's pretty darn red.
It's red.
And it's and they had a trifecta for the last 8 years we know of, but it's been very difficult to be a Democrat in the Florida House and Senate. So this one's a head scratcher for me.
Well,
but
it doesn't have to be, right? Because I understand how the system works. And I understand the lobbies come and they want to do this. All I want the person who's sitting behind the desk, the person that we elect, the person that we send to Tallahassee, the person that we put on city council, and the person that we put on county commission to ask themselves one thing, to make sure that their aides are doing the research, the background. Is this going to hurt my people? And they already know that this don't benefit the people. So then you have to tell the donor, I don't care if they gave you money, that, and even when you're taking the money, you can say, I don't mind taking your money. I don't mind pushing some of your stuff either, as long as it's going to help my community. What is wrong with that? I thought that's what they were there for. Because you can take the money, but the money has to be able to allow you to do what's best. Of course, the donors want what they want because they're not just giving you money, but it has to be in alignment what's best for your community and for the people and for the greater good. Now, if it's just going to benefit you, then that's a problem. And moving forward, they got many people are going to start calling these people out, and we're going to have to eventually start calling them out by names.
But here's the rub for me. We talked about this earlier, that this episode and probably future episodes, we need to start talking to the people. We've got to talk to the people, not so much the politicians, but to the people, because we get to decide whether they get into those seats or not. The money game does not always win. And we saw that with Mayor Mamdani. We saw that with the 3 candidates in New York that he supported. We saw that also in Colorado, where longtime incumbents with major war chests were defeated. Why can't that happen here? And to the voter out there who is going to work on their family, and their family's going to work on their friends, and their friends are going to work on their friends to get them out to the polls. What is needed here in the state of Florida is to unseat some of these Republican incumbents. And they are going to have the dollars, but you have the people power.
Got the ground game.
You got to do the work, the ground game, to get the people out, because dollars, we've seen it, don't always win. And we've got a problem because the rich right now, and I'm going to talk about the rich, and if you can choose one of those videos out there. But if the rich right now are sitting like fat cats, we have a trillionaire. And you know who made the let me back that up, because I like to give his real credentials. We have a native-born South African, grew up during the apartheid era, now American, that just became a trillionaire in this country. Do you see the one on Musk?
Which, oh yes, the mostly by government money
I think
helping him
y'all
get there.
understand what just happened. Elon Musk is no longer a billionaire. Elon Musk is no longer a centi-billionaire. Elon Musk just became the first trillionaire in human history. I need y'all to let that sink in for a second. $1 trillion, not a billion, $1 trillion. A number so big that most people can't even visualize it. If you tried to count to 1 million out loud, it'd take anywhere from 11 to 23 days, they're saying. I need you to look up there and see how long it'll take for you to count to 1 trillion. 31,709 years. We don't even live that long. So now you gotta ask yourself, how did this man right here become the first trillionaire? Because this shit ain't natural. Mind you, he didn't get this shit because Tesla exploded overnight. He got there because of SpaceX. They're saying that he got there because SpaceX just had what is being called the largest IPO in history. That company is worth $2 trillion. And right now he has a personal wealth about $1.1 trillion. I need you to go down a rabbit hole. Here's where this shit starts getting crazy. There are countries on this planet with economies smaller than Elon Musk's personal fortune. Y'all don't think that's crazy? This man now controls more wealth than the GDP of most nations on earth. I just want y'all to think about this. Do you understand how much power that is? I'm saying something, and I hope you picking up what I'm putting down.
But Jeanette,
So
he definitely saying something.
he is saying something. But
And I hope we are picking up. And I'm talking about us. Because I said earlier, we often realize by time we pick up, it's too damn late.
true.
And it's becoming frustrating now.
It is. But consider this. Consider this. Elon Musk is our competition for the government. Right now, they have hold of they have complete control of our government. They actually do.
Mhm.
Give or take a few that are grassroots. That through grassroots were put in those positions, they can stay true to the people. But a lot of them, especially APAC money, a lot of them have been bought, as you like to say, right?
Yeah.
So our competition right now are the likes of the billionaires who are much more interested in status quo, keeping things where they are able to buy politicians and direct what they will and will not do. If you wonder what's going on with the healthcare, billionaires.
Billionaire.
If
Simple
you
as that.
want, yeah, if you want to know what's going on with, I don't know, what else are we losing? We're losing a lot, a great deal. So I'm saying to us, our competition are the billionaires who are going to give their politicians who will grease their pockets as much money as they possibly can so that they are on those airwaves and on the internet influencing you, telling you that the word socialist, for example, is a bad word.
Is a bad word. Imagine that.
Billionaires need you to believe that politicians who are there for the people are socialists, and it's a bad word. But you already see New York has a mayor who is focused on the people and forcing billionaires to pay their fair share in taxes. That's what you got to hold on to, which means the lies that they're telling you, you've got to reject those and go and get as many people in your circle out to vote as you possibly can, because your competition are the billionaires who are going to write a check like Trump got from Elon Musk so he could become a trillionaire. Let's just draw that line. He paid $230 million to Trump so that Trump could become the president, so that Trump could give him government contracts, your taxpayer dollars, government contracts, so that he then could become a trillionaire.
And they're getting these, Elon is probably getting these contracts, no bids, because there's other people who wanted that same thing. I think the guy in, I don't know if it was Facebook or Amazon, but they wanted some of these contracts as well. And that has not been the case.
Yes.
But
yes.
listen, guys, we're not going to sit here and argue, labels while they're robbing the house. I'm no longer going to be arguing left or right.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're going to name the dollars and name the players, because these politicians, hear me, they're not stupid. They're just simply bought. No morals, no ethics. They know exactly what they are doing. We already played that video, so I'm just going to go into. So I'm going to bring it, Jeanette. I'm going to bring it home to Tampa, because this isn't theory. We're going to start with what everybody is feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids can afford apartments,
Mm-hmm.
decent ones. A decent home is out of reach for families
Right.
who did everything right. And the big money is the reason. BlackRock. I remember when I first heard about BlackRock. And the Wall Street names are the faces of it.
Mm-hmm.
Far-away money treat our neighborhoods like a trading floor. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to be straight so nobody can fact check us when we get off the air.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants didn't literally own every house. But here's what is airtight. I did get some background from people in real estate here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's what hurts, I believe, to us the most.
Mm-hmm.
Investors bought a third of the single family homes sold in this country in one recent quarter. Institutional investors own about 15% of the Tampa single family rental market, and in congressional investigation found these institution investors are far more likely to evict, and they deliberately target neighborhoods with more Black families and more single mothers. They don't buy everywhere. They aim where we live.
Yeah, you can see it in.
And we've seen it. We fought along with Robin, with Florida Rising. We saw how they just come in and buy up, and even our local. I don't know how they could have stopped it, but that's their job to figure out. They allowed it to happen.
Yeah, because money talks, right?
Yeah.
And that's what seems to be winning out, unless the people wake up and realize that they really do have the power and they don't have to be swayed by what they see on television or on the internet, and or these influencers that are paid big bucks, $7,000 per post, to make you think that something is good or bad when it is actually good for you. So the people we elected took the real estate and banking money and let that machine run. That's pretty much what they did. They know it's concentrated in Black neighborhoods. And as we said, we can kind of see that in the Black neighborhoods that we frequent. I mean, you work right there on 40th Street, and I go into the.
I grew up in East Tampa. I'm there probably 80% of the time.
Yeah, right. So they know who gets. Yeah, and they know who gets the eviction notice. That's not a market accident, and that's what I'm saying. The people, in New York, what was one of the last things Mom Donnie has done was put a
freeze.
rent freeze for 2 years.
Yes.
You want to tell me how happy those residents are?
Yes. Yes.
And he knows that not everybody actually needs that, but there's a critical mass of people who do need that.
Absolutely.
But he came in, he said he was going to do it, and he did that. And I'm sure it did not make a lot of those owners overly happy, but something has to be done, and there has to be bold moves, which means you need fighters. You need fighters who will fight for you and pass policy that helps you rather than not.
So you remember during the COVID, right? And they were saying why everything was going up was because of COVID, the shutdown, and once the economy got back up on its feet, everything would come back down. Now, what I do know for 62 years of living, when these people see that we will scrape up and pay for whatever, they ain't never taking it back down. And they did not. And they just kept rising because it just doesn't make any sense for a, let's say, 2-bedroom apartment. I remember my daughter took me somewhere and looking at some apartments, and I was like, honey, you got to be out of your freaking mind.
Right.
I don't wasting money like this. You could buy rather than just giving it to make somebody else rich. It doesn't make any sense.
Might as well buy, but that's being hard.
It was 1,200 square feet.
Yeah,
and $2,100 more than I pay for my mortgage.
that's the key. But
that is what these young people are doing right now.
That's true, but they're having to rent, especially if you've got these corporations buying up all these houses in these neighborhoods. Yeah. So, but they know who's getting evicted, and it's really not a market accident. It's a choice, and somebody got paid for it. That's Amos. Taking from the poor and building houses of stone they'll never let you live in.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, when we look at these candidates, and when we look at who is, particularly the local ones, let's say like the mayor, and when you see they donor list, and when you see these investors and these construction companies, all these people just heavily giving to one person, that means that when they get in office, that they have to agree to be in alignment to give these people, because we see it now with Trump. Ain't nobody giving him all this money for nothing. They're getting a return on their investment right now.
Yeah. The good thing is Trump, they discovered after they hated him for a while, the first term, they had to love him because he's transactional. They protect him. He will give them what they want. All right. So then he's out, and he comes back, and they hate him again, and they don't want to put him in. But Trump is transactional. You give me what I want, I will give you what you want.
And he could get the stuff done, because they have not had a Republican who could have pushed Project 2025.
Nobody.
And do what these billionaires wanted.
They hit the jackpot with Trump, and they know that. Yes. And it took them a while to really warm up, but Trump is delivering, but they are also delivering for Trump. That's why he's a multi-billionaire now.
It's a win-win for all of us.
Kids are billionaires and whatever, because they're making money off of the presidency. And so we have to sort of pay attention and realize that the billionaires through Trump are just racking up. If they continue to control at the level that they are, if there's a third term for Trump or a or a JD Vance gets in there, or even, I'm not even sure about Marco Rubio. Marco's really weird. I can't tell where he's coming from.
I don't see him advancing. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
I don't see either of the two of them advancing, but let's just say it gets to a point of no return, and I think that's what they're banking on, because Trump's not going to be around forever, so they need to put enough in place where it will take 10 years or maybe 2 decades to reverse what has occurred. So it's they're taking it down a fascist path, and at some point there will be the point of no return. And this next election, you know how people say, oh, it's the most consequential election ever. It is a consequential election.
I believe it.
We do have to move the Congress, take over the Congress, House and Senate. That is a must to stop what he's doing. Now, strangely enough, I don't think they should get right in there and impeach him. I really don't.
Don't waste your time on that, because that's just a waste of time. That's a waste of money.
It's 2 years left. It's 2 years left. You don't want JD Vance anywhere to ascend to that seat. Right. And all you have to do is shut down any and everything that he does. Just shut it down. You've got control of the House. You've got control of the Senate. So
you know,
those are strategies that I think, I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking over you on this one, but those are strategies that we have to be thinking about instead of emotionally saying, impeach Trump, impeach Trump. Plan your strategy, people. Your opponent are the oligarchs, the rich, the billionaires, and the 1 trillionaire. That's who you're up against. You have got to bring them down, and you do that through your votes at this point. You do that through your votes because they own everything we use. I mean, the very platform that we're on in terms of the internet, they own it.
Yeah.
We don't.
And it could be done. We could almost beat them at their own game. Even when they did the redistricting, particularly for state, federal, right? I was like, yeah, so we all we need to do is vote, get the Republicans out, put the Democrats in, put the right Democrats in, and it could be done. But something else you said that I was going to make a comment on, when they used to say this is the most important election, I never believed it. I was like, oh, hogwash. Not so. But when we was talking about Project 2025 and we came across
that was it.
That is when I start saying, oh my God, we can't let this happen. Oh my God, this is what they want to do. Now, people kept saying to me, well, that can't be done. We live under laws and we seeing that they're doing it. Now, everything isn't happening, but 60% of what they want has already been implemented. They're in place, and it is going to be no reversing. But I'm going to show them this video before we go to the next one, Jeanette.
Okay.
The top tax rate in America was 70%. 70. The wealthy were paying their share, the middle class was growing, and wages were rising. Then came the Economic Recovery Tax Act of 1981. Reagan slashed that top rate down to 28%, the biggest tax cut for the wealthy in American history. They called it trickle-down economics. The idea that if you give rich people more money, it flows down to the rest of us. It never trickled down. What actually happened? The wealthy got richer. Corporations bought back their own stock. CEO pay exploded. And worker wages, they flatlined for decades. Between 1979 and 2020, the top 1% saw their income grow by over 160%. The bottom 90%, less than 26%. That gap didn't happen by accident. It was written into law in 1981 by design. They told you hard work was enough, but they changed the rules so the game was never fair to begin with. Now you know what they don't want you to know. Follow for more breakdowns on the systems that shape your paycheck.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Go ahead.
No,
Oh,
that's. I mean, come on. I don't know what more we could say.
I don't think we can say anymore. But this has been, and I love that it went as far back as Reagan, because this has been in play for that long, folks. That long, where the transfer of wealth has been going to the most wealthy through tax cuts. They were at 70%. They're at around 28%, and even there, they do not pay taxes because they found so many loopholes. We are. So I want to just take, let's see, is watching TV. He is a tick sucking the resources of the US gov. That, you're right. This is Elon Musk. That is pretty much, that sums it up. That sums it up. And Lynette, because oftentimes donor money is at opposition of the people, think redevelopment. Two mutually exclusive things cannot exist at the same time. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Total opposition.
Yes.
And last, many African leaders are refusing to allow Musk to operate in the country. I need for African Americans to wake up too, Lynette, the way you've got African countries that are now shutting their doors to the likes of Elon Musk, to the likes of France, and so on and so forth. Yes. Bravo, bravo.
And definitely France. I'm loving it.
Yes.
So now we're still in Tampa, and I want to talk about the stadium, Jeanette, because, you know, it's live. It's coming up for a vote. They want to hand the billionaires, sports owners, $500 billion. I'm sorry, $500 million. It's just unbelievable. Not a million, $500 million, $1 billion, over $2 billion in public money for stadiums, while our families down the road can't make rent. And here's the lie that they want us to, and we've been hearing them on the campaign trail, and I've been trying to accept it, but I just cannot accept it. They tell you it's an investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put in $1, get $1 out. You put in $1, you get $1 back. Jobs for the community. I'm sorry, but that's a lie. It's a lie. And I could call it a lie and not just a disagreement, because the research isn't even close. I keep doing the research. In one survey of the top economists, about 83% said stadium subsidizes, causes taxpayer money more than they ever give back. Now that's what they said, 83%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another 85% said government should stop subsidizing stadiums altogether. Economies, they never agree on anything. They never agree on that, on anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is, but they're agreeing on this. They're agreeing on, and on the jobs. A football team is maybe 125 to 175 full-time people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus part-time work, a few hours a day, 10 days a year. They know that's not a return, but they say it anyway, because the billionaire fund them to say it. Now, I want to know, with this raised stadium that's coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and if these people could be truthful, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But they think we're idiots, particularly African Americans, because we're saying, oh, they're going to bring jobs. No, it's been proven that hasn't worked. We can look at Battery Stadium, I believe, or Battery Field in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and it's where I pulled all the research from anyway. And it hasn't benefited that community as they said it was. It just happened.
Yeah, I don't know the research on the return on investments. So I'm like, yeah, I could see what you're saying, but I don't have my finger on the pulse of how well cities have done when they have somewhat footed the bill or their share of the bill, large portions of the bill, and put that on the backs of taxpayers. Now, we originally said, gee, why can't this be an investment just like everybody else? Why can't the taxpayer invest in this project with an expected return on their investment, and not necessarily just a few people get some jobs and whatever else? That died on the vine.
Yes.
Nobody was interested in having that conversation, but it's not a conversation that originates really here. There are other cities that have considered that, because I think what I call new America, America's going to emerge as something different. It has to, because the Trump administration is destroying just about every institution we have built as a country. But I think because it's going to be a different way of functioning, it would behoove our politicians to begin, the cliche, thinking outside of the box.
Yes.
And right now, we don't have that level of creativity, that level of marching us into the future that we should have. And I can tell you that based on how I saw the decision-making apparatus happen in the last few months. It's the same old, nothing creative, where the taxpayer, the people, going back to the people, because that's what we're talking about, the people, right, against the billionaire class who says, I'm going to build this beautiful, shiny thing for you. And it is a beautiful, shiny thing. It really is.
It is beautiful. We will enjoy
a beautiful, shiny thing.
But just instead, because it's beautiful and you own it, you're benefiting, then you freaking pay for it, and we'll pay to come there.
Unless you are willing to come to the table in a very different way, and our representatives that we put there to speak for us are speaking from a very negotiating position of, we will put this and here's what we expect in the ROI. And we're not ready to do that. So whatever.
So Jeanette, let me say this. They don't even pay taxes. They get all these tax breaks. So how is it benefiting the community?
Well, they told you jobs.
Other than the little jobs.
They told you jobs and things like that. But, hotel revenue, restaurants, all of that other stuff. So I get that, but that's not the kind of deals we should be making going into we're well into the 21st century and the new America that has to emerge. Taxpayers need a very different relationship with the billionaire class. What's his name? Elon is a trillionaire mainly because of taxpayer dollars that allow him to take his pet projects and take it to reality. What is our return on investment? See what I'm saying? Same thing with the stadium. There has to be a new relationship. And the way that we get that is that we go to the polls, we make sure everybody that we know go, and we make demands of our politicians to do it different. Mamdani is doing it different. Not everybody likes what he's doing, especially the politicians and the billionaire class. Even Letitia James. I was disappointed.
We're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah, I was disappointed to hear what she had to say, but that's what they are supposed to say to maintain status quo. Absolutely. But what if the taxpayer, Joe, Jane, Willie, Leroy, I don't care what you want to call them.
Jeanette, Billy Bob,
right.
All of us.
What if we become the power brokers with representation that will speak for us and move for us, so that our return on investment in space, over there on Del Mabry, and wherever else, that the rich of the rich of the rich don't just keep getting rich, but we get it in terms of roads that are built. Instead of our taxpayer going, we keep more of our money because we've got this fund over here that pays for the things that we all need, right?
We all paying
and
for
we
it.
control that, right?
Yeah.
So we keep more of the money that we're making because you don't have to take as many taxes out, because our return on investment on these projects are coming back to us. So I'm just saying, I don't want to be a politician,
No.
but for crying out loud, can you think a little bit differently? It's already happening out there. Why not
You
here?
say you want to be a politician, you're going to have to think different, and we're going to have to hold them accountable. And if you don't produce that first term, you cannot go any further. Let's go on to the last slide. You finished there?
So let me I just want us to remember Raymond James was built back in 1998 and with 100% of taxpayer money after the same billionaire family threatened to leave. 30 years later, they're back with their hand out again. Public money in, private profit out. And the threat to leave us, used as leverage every single time. It's kind of like the married couple. I'm gonna leave, and then you're not gonna have anything. You know the story.
Yes.
When your commissioner votes yes, pull their donor cards and ask them to name one study, not one paid for by the team, that shows the public got its money back. They can't, because it doesn't exist.
Even we had someone on here and they said, oh, Raymond James give back to the community all the time. They do a lot for the community. Other than the Yacht Center, tell me one thing.
Yeah.
And they said, well, they do bike to school. I said, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
All right. So, Jeanette, I want to tell a little story, because this whole thing has been about for me to try to get the people to understand what is going on. Back in 2018, there was a bill in Tallahassee, and they called it the Free Settlement. In plain English, it was a payday loan bill. Are you familiar with payday loans?
Yes, I am.
All right. It let these lenders put $1,000 loan on you at a rate the state own analysts said came to 208%. Can you imagine 208%? I wasn't really too familiar with these payday loans or AmScot. I know sometimes people would go to AmScot to cash a check. I know by us renting property, sometimes they used to pay in money orders and they would get them from AmScot. I said, so why do you get it from AmScot? You can just go to your bank and get a cashier's check. But nevertheless,
yes,
they were getting it from there.
You find AmScots. There were a while there. You find them in poor neighborhoods,
heavily in our neighborhood,
and you also find them near college campuses.
Okay, heavily in our neighborhood. I live in New Tampa, and I only know one AmScot out there. A little small, and it's very small. It's like a storefront. The AmScots in East Tampa, I mean, they're huge. So I don't know. And the state already knew what these loans do. Their own numbers showed more than a third of the people who take them, 10 or more in a single year. That's not lending. That's a trap. And the companies pushing hardest to expand it was AmScot, a Tampa company who's in our own backyard. And they knew they had a problem selling that to our community. So guess what they did? They went and got the one thing that could give them coverage. They went and got the black pastors.
Oh.
They went and got And I remember this case too.
Oh my gosh.
The black pastors, the black churches, it always uses us. We always become compromised for. I don't know. I don't know. They recruited black pastors and brought them to Tallahassee to lobby for it, to give their blessing. They needed these pastors to go to Tallahassee to give the blessing that they was in support of Amscott. I'm not going to call their names tonight, but I did watch it happen, and they know who they are. They sold the people out. I did get some explanations on why they did what they did.
Yeah.
I even said, why can't we do this? Why can't the church do this? Because we know, and because of how I know all this stuff, because of my line of business, right? I know people who have put their car titles up for security and lost it. I know people who get a loan, can't pay it back, and then go in there, and I think it's like re-up it or something like this. But let's say you get $100, you're almost paying $250 back.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So, you know, and I guess this is where we say preaching the book on Sunday and doing the exact thing the book condemns on Monday. Amos stood in the temple and watched the religious crowd bless what was crushing the poor. Some of these men got on a plane to do it, but they did it.
Wow. They did it. And I was against it then. I'm against it now. A pulpit that blesses a 200% loan against its own congregation has traded the stream of justice for a check.
Yeah.
And that's pretty sad.
Very sad, Mona. Very sad.
So when we come back, I want to talk about the Democrats directly. Stay with us. And I think we're going to, we have time for this next commercial.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. And off you go. At Ready, Set, Go Travel Agency, we specialize in all types of trips. Whether it's a family vacation, a girls' trip, or a quick getaway for two, we've got you covered. We take the stress out of planning and offer packages for all budgets so you can focus on what really matters, making memories. Let us plan your next adventure. Ready, Set, Go Travel Agency. Yeah. So tell me, where in the world to next? Contact Lynette Judge at 813-644-2145 or ljudge1976@gmail.com to start planning today.
Hey, before you go to the next segment, and let's quickly do some of the comments.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Kevin says our community doesn't need more part-time seasonal jobs, referring to the whole stadium discussion. Absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Lynette, California is the only state where no government dollars can be spent on sports facilities.
Interesting. I have to check into that.
And who funds these stadiums when teams leave the area? We're stuck with it.
Right.
We're holding the bill. So many of our, Kevin says, so many of our communities are unbankable. The payday lenders feed off our economic vulnerability. Yet another reason why we need our inheritance. Yes, on that last point. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm with you.
But that is why we need the pastors to think outside of the box. I mean, you guys could have opened up a credit union by now. We need our politicians inside, I think. But these people
outside of the box.
Church. Yes. These people outside of the box. Why are we making these white men?
Definitely. Definitely. And last comment, Beckham, but are they preaching Amos on Sunday? You can make the good books say just about anything.
Well, we're finna get into it because I haven't been to church in a long time, so but I think they're still trying to preach
Same here.
Amos and Amos on Sunday. So we're still interviewing candidates. So I'm not here tonight to tell you who to vote for. We're not here to say tonight who to vote for. We will put out a slate who we will recommend would be good for our community, good for our people. But I'm here to tell you what we expect from anybody who want our votes. Let me take you back to a man named Amos, not a king, not a priest, a shepherd, a working man from the country. And the story goes a little like this. God reached past all the important people and sent him to stand in front of the comfortable and the powerful and tell them the truth.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. But here's what made Amos dangerous. The economy was good. Business was by the bowlful. And Amos looked at all that comfort and said, God is not impressed because that wealth was built on the backs of the poor. He said, you sell the righteous for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals. You sold the poor for the price of a pair of shoes. Now look around Tampa, y'all, and let me and tell me that's ancient history. They put cameras on our streets and call it safety. When the study that justified it was paid for by the company that actually profits from it. They let the big money buy up the houses on our blocks, and now our children can't afford a first apartment in the city they were actually born in. They want to hand billionaire sports owners the people's money for stadiums while families down the road can't make rent. And the predatory lenders, they sit in our neighborhoods charging 200% and 300%. And they went and got preachers to bless it. That is robbing the needy at the gate and then calling it holy.
Now, here's who I'm really talking to tonight. I'm talking to the Democrats because Amos wasn't sent to a foreign enemy. He was sent to his own people, the ones who were supposed to know better, the ones who had the law and the prophet and showed up to worship every single week. Most said they were Christian. You stand in our churches, you clap on Sunday. So you know this scripture. Amos stood there and told the religious crowd, God said, I hate your festivities. I will not listen to your songs. Take all of it away from me. And then he told them what God actually wanted. He said, let justice roll down like water and righteous like an ever-flowing stream.
Wow. I think he was telling them the singing means nothing. And that's when I was going to church, I love the singing part, right?
We all do.
But he also said the worship means nothing.
Yes.
The photo in front of the Black church means absolutely nothing if the poor are still being crushed when you walk back out the door. And I think that's what we're missing. To the politicians, we elected you. The working poor and the working class, the middle class in this country are catching hell right now. And you have an obligation, not a suggestion, an obligation to look out for the people who put you in the seat, not the donor, not the billionaire, not the lobbyist who wrote the bill, the people.
The first thing I thought about when I was reading the scripture, that what you just said, the photo ops in front of the Black churches mean nothing. And we know that. And the first person, I'm sorry to say, came to mind was Bob Buckle. He loved coming to our churches to take pictures. He comes out. But look at our fucking neighborhood. For 8 years he was there. And these people still want to consider him again. It is just crazy. I'm sorry. That's just my thought, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we're carrying into every interview. Not are you a Democrat? Not are you a Christian? We can all claim a label. The question is whether justice roll down when you're in office or whether it stops at the top and never reaches the streets. We are done with singing, or we should be done with singing. We want the stream now.
We want the stream. Absolutely.
Simple as that. Um, so I don't know how I even came with that. I heard somebody says Amos. We all know the story of Amos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, growing up in church,
Yeah.
all of us black people, our preachers, and I just said to myself, they all know this. The Christians on the even the right,
Mm-hmm.
white nationalists, but we'll leave their problems to them, but ours and our preachers. And when the preachers, when these politicians come to the preachers and ask them to co-sign something that they know damn well isn't good for the people. Now, I've never gone to a money lender, what they call them, what did I say? Cash, whatever they are, money lenders place. But I'm gonna tell you a story. I never forget. We were in Atlanta one Christmas, and my
Mm-hmm.
auntie, we all drove there for Christmas, and my auntie wasn't coming back home with us. So she
Mm-hmm.
called me upstairs and says, I need you to do me a favor, but I don't want you to say anything. And I was like, okay, we don't keep secrets in this family because our family is very, very close. Like, you've been a little sneaky here. So what are you doing? She gives me a check for $250 and tell me that she needed me to go pay it the next day because it was a payday loan that one of my cousins got her to go take out for her for Christmas. And I said, what? I really
For
didn't.
Christmas.
Yes. And I'm talking about this was like in 2010, 20 something, because my daughter was like 8, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we all live in East Tampa. We was living in East Tampa at the time. And so I said, okay. I said, so what's the address? She goes, I said, what? So my cousin, she's been very sneaky, and we had to stop them from taking advantage of the seniors in our family, right? But
Right.
if she come to my auntie and tell her she needs money, and maybe my auntie said she didn't have it, and she says, well, can you help me get a loan? So she couldn't, my auntie had to get it in her name. And of course she's going to do it because she says she needs to buy toys for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, buy what you can afford, or you just, or she could have went to her father. She could have did multiple things instead of going to get this loan. Now, I don't know how much the loan was, but the check was for $250. But she kept it his hides and on. It had to be, I had to be over there and play it by 5 p.m. that Friday. Now, I work on Fridays. I had to stop. I'm on this side of town. I had to go way over on 115 somewhere off of Fletcher. And I said, yeah, y'all was being sneaky because why are y'all way over here doing it? Why couldn't you do it on Hillsborough, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But that's when I realized, so I knew what that was about. And so when this came up in Tallahassee, I remember talking to a couple of the pastors and saying, no, I don't think y'all should do this because these people are robbing us. How will you allow this to happen? And they didn't see any. I don't know why they did it. And I'm talking about black people I know.
Because people are desperate, and it's a condition that we are in because of the way the country has progressed over the last 400 years. This is where we're at. And so the rich people, put tools in place to answer a problem that they created themselves.
That they create, right.
That they created themselves. Kevin says, y'all preaching tonight. Where's the collection plate?
I know, right? And we preach them for free. And these preachers, which I want these churches to move a little bit more into liberation and to help educate the people. Because
Absolutely.
they're not doing, I don't know. That's probably why I decided I was just going to construct from the church, because it just, I don't know. And not all, because it is a lot of churches that is doing that. A lot of the
But when I talk about a new America, the church also has to reinvent itself.
Yes.
Kind of like, you know, I used to say, oh, what a library is going to do, right? Libraries are reinventing themselves.
Yes.
Schools and institutions are having to reinvent themselves. The churches are going to have to reinvent themselves because they are losing so much. But you're right. Their purpose also has to be to liberate the people. It can't just be, and I'm not even going to say anything about the Bible and the Christianity that they are purporting or they're saying in the church. I'm not going to say anything about that today, but they have to figure out how do they truly feed their flock and get them ready for what is to come. Johari Briggs says, amen. So much information, so needed. How do we get our young voters involved and out to vote? Bravo, ladies, and thank you. And we do our formula, and I think it's a formula for others, is matriarchs and patriarchs of families are going to be responsible for their family and friends, and then they themselves. It's kind of like that pyramid scheme thing. We're like my nieces and nephews, after I'm getting them out to vote, they're going to have to make sure their friends are getting out to vote. But if we all take responsibility for our circle of influence, we can make this thing happen, and it could truly be for the people.
So, Jeanette, how I really started. It wasn't anything that I even planned. My customers, most of them, middle class, upper middle class people, they didn't really care about voting one way or the other. And, you know, they will vote for whatever candidates we suggest. And I never really had a whole slate, right? We would just tell them, or they'll see the signs or the literature inside the shop, or the people we're biting or recommending. Then they say, well, who's for judge? Even I didn't really dive deep into it. So once I started diving deep into it, I just have a slate, send it to them. And then I would get calls, and, you know, I get really frustrated when somebody just called me just to talk when I'm at work. Hello, may I speak to Miss Mona?
I'll remember that. Just kidding.
Hello, may I speak to Miss Mona? This is Mona. Oh, my grandmother told me to call you to get the recommendation on who to vote for. I'm like, what the heck? Your grandmother have it. Because I texted to her. She can send it to you. I can't stop. And then I'm going to forget. I can't stop and look it up and send it to you. So I used to have to tell my customers, it is your job to send it to everybody in your phone that's in Florida, but particularly your children. And then tell their mothers to make sure they send it to their grown children. And you keep that moving like that. That is how it's going to work. And we got multiple people out here. I like what C.T. Harris is doing. We got multiple people out here trying to, and we're just doing our small part for the people we get in contact with, right? All right, but we're good on time. But before we go, one more thing, and it matters because we've already talked about it a little bit, but this week is the 4th of July.
Yes.
Celebrating 250 years. However you decide to celebrate, we talked about it last year. What does that mean to you? What does America means to you? What does it mean to be an American? We talked about it last week. And it is this Saturday, we could all think about it. We could all reevaluate what it means.
Yep.
But what I do know what it means is America belongs to us. Our ancestors built it. They laid the foundation. It is our America. And how we want this America moving forward is up to us right now. We could change how America is moving, or we could certainly have some direction on which way it goes. But we have to get our people out to vote. Like Jeanette said, the patriots and the matriarchs, you got to get these young people. We had 90,000, it could have been 1,000, it had to be million people that did not vote.
Millions. Yeah, it was a million. It was in the millions.
Millions. That cannot happen this time. We see where we at, and it is up to, like women, I believe, to say, here's what I want. And not only do I say and leave it up to them, I want proof. I even start saying that with my customers. I want to see the I vote ticket. I want to see a picture of you. I do this, but I don't do it to say I have doubt, but I was having doubt. But this was to make sure that they go and vote, right?
Yeah.
And not only that they go and vote, I want you to go vote early. Because we have to show these white people, no matter what obstacle you put in front of us, we able to go around them, jump over it, whatever. But if we wait on August the 18th, it's always going to be a problem. You're going to have a flat tire. The car won't start. You're at the wrong polling place. They do 2 weeks of early voting. I haven't always, but lately I said it's a waste of money because we don't really take advantage of it. When you have Steve Light's library, so I've worked the polls, and you have 50 people coming in there on one day, and we're in a community with that many people, it's a problem. We have to make sure that our people go out and vote. I say the first day I like to make that. I have one customer who says, I have always gotten my hair done on early voting. I leave the shop with her and we go and to the polls and I vote. She liked to do it and I do it. So hi,
Traditions. Traditions are nice. Traditions are very nice.
We still do it and we get our little we take a selfie. So but whatever, we can make this work.
Yeah, I'm a vote by mail person.
Yes.
My mother vote by mail. My niece vote by mail. But by the way, the Supreme Court just ruled that vote by mail is alive and well, and it will not be touched by the Trump administration.
But
so I did get them.
You got to recall. If you do have to, if you are vote by mail, you need to call right now to make sure that you will receive it. Now I know if you did it last time, you didn't have to do it, but we don't know. We should just make sure.
Okay. So the new rule is that every year, not every cycle, but every year, you're going to have to go and make the request again. So right now, I just got a communication in the mail that my vote by mail was not continued. It stopped. And that if I wanted to, I needed to go. So I went online. I did it for myself. I did it for my mom. And then I call my family. If you're voting by mail, here's what you need to do by what date, whatever date. Don't ask me the date at the moment. But it has to be done. And then I got confirmation later that my status was copacetic. And we're checking all the time on supervisor election site to make sure that we are registered and in the way that we know that we are. So we're ready.
And it's going to be,
make a plan and execute the plan.
Yeah, fortunately for us, our supervisor of election, he's pretty good with making sure it's not doing anything funny. It is I'm going to just assume he's a Democrat because he's not making it hard. But
yeah,
however you decide to celebrate, whether you're with family or putting something together at your house, take a few minutes to talk about voting.
yeah.
Check your
I'm doing
voter
nothing.
registration.
I'm doing
Check-
nothing on the.
You doing nothing? Well, maybe you'll come over. I think we're gonna put together a card game.
Oh yeah, because I love card games.
Well, we could teach you. I mean,
It's
we
like-
play board games. We do all kind of things. So, but people, we have to check our voter registration, and you got to ask your kids. Don't just ask them because they're just going to say, "Yeah, mom." My daughter and my niece voter registration. They got new voter cards, and they came. Kelsey, can you go get that from off the dining room table downstairs? Should see Jordan. So they came this week. So they got their new cards, and I was glad of that. But also know where you vote at.
Precinct, yes.
Yes, because some of these precincts has changed. Some have closed down. And voting early is, I believe, the most important thing.
Yeah.
That's what I have on that. Jeanette, you could take us out.
So, folks, if you liked what you're hearing tonight, we want to encourage you to share our YouTube. But most important, if you're not subscribed, we want you to subscribe right now. Take a moment, subscribe. It helps us reach our goal. We're still trying to get to 500, folks. So the more of you subscribe, the better. Also, thank you to the commenters tonight. We really look forward to your comments, and I hope we didn't miss any on Facebook, but we really look forward to being able to share your thoughts as well. We don't just want to hear from ourselves, but we also want the guests that we do have to also hear from you. So thank you. Great show, Mona. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was new things. So we do need to check and make sure we're ready. We could win this.
We can win this. The people can win this. What you see on television, those are going to be the oligarchs funding that. But the people can win this. Ignore all of that noise. The people can win.
And all of the campaign garbage you will be receiving against candidates.
Absolutely.
APAC was sent out to make us. We're not stupid. We're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe anymore.
Word socialist does not mean communism. It means exactly what you see happening in New York. And that is they have a grocery store, the government-run grocery store, just like when I was in a military brat. We used to go to the PX and we used to go to the commissary. It's kind of like, that's right. So costs are being kept low. People are getting good food, and they're not relying on the oligarchs. They are relying on themselves. So there's a lot of good in what's happening across the United States. It can happen here in Tampa as well, in the state of Florida.
Hope to see everyone tomorrow at the well. Join us. 5:30. We'll be there from 5:30 to 8.
Yeah, come hang out with me and Mona and Robin Lockett and Gary Hartfield. We will be hosting. So thank you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
See you Sunday.